You just handed over 6 figures for your dream car. The paperwork is signed, the keys are in your hand, and your salesperson is beaming at you across the desk. But the moment you drive off that lot, there are 15 things they were never going to tell you. Hidden running costs, mechanical time bombs baked in at the factory, resale traps, and finance office tricks that can quietly cost you thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars. None of it is a secret, exactly. It's just that nobody at the dealership had any reason to bring it up. Let's fix that, starting at number 15. Number 15. Deferred maintenance is already your problem. When you bought the car, the dealer handed you the service records, smiled, and wished you well. What they didn't say is that any gap in that history is now your bill to pay. The rule serious Porsche people live by is simple. If you can't prove a service was done, assume it wasn't. Porsche maintenance intervals are not gentle suggestions, they're the line between a car that runs flawlessly and one that ambushes you with a huge repair a month after purchase. Belts that were never changed, fluids that were never flushed, a water pump nobody ever inspected, brake fluid that has been quietly absorbing moisture for years. On a neglected car, resetting all of that to zero can run into several $1,000s. So the first thing to do with any used Porsche is take it to an independent specialist, get a full inspection, and budget to bring every fluid and wear item current, no matter what the seller told you. And the very first thing that catches people out sits under the hood. Number 14. The battery will betray you if the car sits. Here's something almost no dealer mentions at handover. Porsche batteries hate sitting still, and since so many of these cars are weekend toys, this blindsides more owners than almost anything else on this list. A modern Porsche carries a surprising amount of parasitic drain from alarm systems, control units, and trackers that never fully sleep, and on some models, a single failing component can pull enough current to flatten the battery in days. Once one of these AGM batteries is run completely dead, it's usually ruined for good. Worse, replacing it isn't a simple swap because the new battery has to be electronically coded to the car so it charges correctly, which means specialist equipment and extra labor on top of the part. The fix is almost insultingly cheap. If you're not driving the car for a solid half hour every week, put it on a smart battery maintainer when it sits. $60 of trickle charger saves you a cycle of dead batteries. Speaking of cheap prevention, the next one is even cheaper, and ignoring it can flood your car. Number 13. Blocked drains can flood your electronics. This one sounds far too mundane to be serious, right up until you see the repair bill. On the older water-cooled cars, the Boxster, the Cayman, the 996 and 997, the sunroof and cowl drain channels clog with leaves and grime over time. When they do, water has nowhere to go but into the cabin, and it pools in exactly the wrong place, right where Porsche mounted sensitive control modules under the seats. A soaked immobilizer can leave the car completely undrivable and require dealer-level coding to sort out. A drowned body control module triggers a horror show of electrical gremlins, windows moving on their own, alarms going off at random, locks that stop working. Prevention costs nothing and takes 10 minutes twice a year. Clear those drain channels with a soft brush and some warm soapy water and you sidestep a 4-figure disaster. Your dealer knew about this. They just didn't see it as their job to warn you. Now let's talk about something far more expensive that a car can hide. Number 12. Track history can be hidden, and it wrecks the car. Here's a genuine scandal sitting in plain sight in the used market, and in most places, dealers aren't legally required to disclose it. A car can be sold as a low-mileage, near-new example, while nearly every one of those miles was hammered around a circuit. Track use punishes components in ways a standard inspection won't reveal. Bushings, bearings, clutch packs, differentials, brakes, and tires all wear at a completely different rate under circuit abuse. And dozens of hard launches can quietly age a drivetrain years. There are well-known cases of buyers discovering only after purchase that their pristine-looking car had lived its short life at speed. So before you buy any used Porsche, do 3 things. Pull the factory build and service records, run a full history report, and pay for an independent pre-purchase inspection. A few $100s spent up front can save you from a catastrophe that costs more than the car. Some risks, though, aren't hidden in the history. Some are baked in before you even choose your color. Number 11. Your color and options were resale decisions. By the time you're watching this, these choices are already made, but understanding them matters for the day you sell. The conventional wisdom that safe, neutral specs protect resale simply doesn't hold the way it does for ordinary cars. On the right Porsche, a distinctive, boldly chosen color can actually hold value better than yet another silver or black car sitting anonymously on a lot. On the options side, the Sport Chrono package is treated by resale specialists as close to mandatory. Cars without it are harder to sell and sit longer. Meanwhile, most of the personalization extras, the decorative trims and cosmetic flourishes, return almost nothing when you sell. The rule of thumb is to prioritize a desirable color, good seats, and the packages buyers actually search for, and to treat everything else as money spent purely for your own enjoyment. If you spec'd yours with sport chrono and a strong color, you're in good shape. If not, factor that into your expectations. And speaking of money spent for appearance, the next one is a classic finance office markup. If you found this interesting, feel free to check out my ebook in the description or scan the QR code on the right, and don't forget to subscribe. Number 10. That finance office ceramic coating is usually a scam. At the finance desk, you were probably offered a ceramic coating or paint protection package for $1,000 to $2,000, pitched as a smart way to protect your Porsche's finish. In the overwhelming majority of dealership cases, that is not a real ceramic coating. What actually gets applied, if anything gets applied at all, is a cheap spray sealant that takes a few minutes to wipe on and lasts a matter of weeks. A genuine professional coating requires many hours of decontamination and paint correction before the coating ever touches the car. You paid luxury money for a few dollars of product. Worse, dealer prep sometimes involves automated car washes and abrasive brushes that swirl the very paint you just paid to protect. If you want a coating that actually performs, take the car to a reputable independent detailer. The same budget buys you a real multi-layer application that lasts years, done by someone who knows what they're doing. Next up is a document you assume protects you, but which is full of holes. Number 9. Your warranty has more exclusions than you think. Porsche's new vehicle warranty runs 4 years or 50,000 miles, whichever comes first, and that sounds reassuring until you read the fine print that only ever surfaces when you try to make a claim. If a single non-approved part gets used in a service, claims on related systems can be denied. Anything damaged during track use is excluded outright, where items like brakes, tires, and wipers were never covered to begin with. And here's the one that stings. If you buy a used Porsche that changed hands outside the official network, the remaining factory warranty may not automatically follow you, and you can have to proactively register it. The high-voltage battery on the hybrids and the Taycan gets its own longer coverage, 8 years or 100,000 miles, and certified pre-owned cars add a couple of extra years, but the core bumper-to-bumper window is shorter than most owners assume, which matters enormously because once it lapses, every bill lands on you, and Porsche bills are not small. Number 8. The Porsche tax on parts never stops. Long-term owners have a name for the premium you pay on parts, labor, and consumables simply because of the crest on the hood. It's the Porsche tax, and your dealer is very happy to collect it. A routine oil change at the dealer costs several times what the same job costs on an ordinary car. A coated battery, a set of performance tires that can wear out shockingly fast under hard driving, brake service, transmission fluid, it all carries a premium. A year of dealer-only servicing on a street-driven 911 can quietly land in the 4-figure range before anything actually breaks, and the GT cars climb from there. The smart move is to understand your true annual budget before you buy, and to stop treating the dealer as your only option. There's a whole world of independent specialists doing identical work for less, and we'll get to them. But first, one option that takes the Porsche tax to a completely different planet. Number 7. Ceramic brakes look incredible until you replace them. When the dealer offered you the carbon ceramic brake upgrade with those gorgeous yellow calipers, they told you all about the stopping power and the fade resistance. What they conveniently skipped was the replacement cost. A full set of ceramic rotors and pads is widely reported to run into the tens of thousands of dollars, frequently quoted in the $15,000 to $25,000 range, while a complete steel brake replacement is a small fraction of that. Here's the kicker. Unless you track the car regularly, ceramic brakes offer very little real-world benefit for street driving. Plenty of owners who paid dearly for them quietly switch back to steel at replacement time, not because they dislike the performance, but because they simply cannot justify the invoice. It's a spectacular piece of engineering that most street owners will never come close to needing. And now we get to the mechanical issue that every buyer of a certain era of Porsche needs to know cold. Number 6. The IMS bearing is a known weakness dealers rarely raise. If you own a naturally aspirated 911 from the 996 or early 997 era, or a Boxster or Cayman with the M96 or M97 engine built roughly between 1997 and 2008, there's a factory weakness your dealer may never mention. It's the intermediate shaft bearing, and it has destroyed a lot of engines. The bearing was sealed at the factory with no service interval and no active oil feed, and over time the grease inside breaks down. When it lets go, the failure is catastrophic. Metal through the whole engine, and typically a full rebuild or replacement that can cost more than the car is worth. This was serious enough to produce the Eisen class action lawsuit, which revealed a failure rate as high as around 8% on the worst single-row bearings used from 2000 to 2005, versus roughly 1% on the earlier dual-row design. Crucially, the turbo and GT cars with the Mezger engine don't share the flaw, and cars from 2009 onward eliminated the shaft entirely. If you're shopping one of the affected years, demand documented proof of a bearing upgrade. A retrofit runs a couple of $1,000s. An engine does not. Now for the gearbox, and a service most dealers never push. Number 5. The PDK gearbox is a time bomb if you ignore its fluid. The PDK dual clutch is one of the greatest transmissions ever built, and also one of the most expensive things on the car to replace. Porsche's official line suggests the fluid can go a very long way, in some guidance out to around 120,000 miles. Independent specialists overwhelmingly disagree, and most recommend changing it far sooner, somewhere in the 30 to 60,000 mile window. The reason is simple. As the fluid degrades, it loses its ability to lubricate and actuate the hydraulics, and it puts real stress on the mechatronic unit and clutch packs. When a PDK truly fails, replacement can run well into 5 figures. The good news your dealer rarely volunteers is that many so-called PDK failures are actually repairable at the component level, a sensor or a solenoid, rather than the whole unit. But finding that out costs time and money a simple fluid change would have prevented. Change the fluid early and often. It's some of the cheapest catastrophe insurance you can buy, and the best place to have it done is exactly where the dealer doesn't want you to go. Number 4. Independent specialists are a smart move, not a risk. One of the most profitable myths a dealer can let you believe is that only they can touch your car and that an independent shop voids your warranty. In the United States, that's flatly untrue. Under the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, a manufacturer cannot void your warranty simply because you used an independent shop, as long as correct parts were used and the work was documented. The burden is on Porsche to prove a specific outside repair caused a specific failure, not to blanket deny you. Good independent Porsche specialists run the same PWIS diagnostic system and fit the same genuine parts. Very often, the only real difference is the hourly rate, which can be 30 to 50% lower than the dealer's. Across a major service, that gap alone is worth hundreds or thousands, and over years of ownership, it adds up to serious money. Keep meticulous records, use a shop with a real Porsche track record and correct parts, and your warranty stays perfectly intact. Even so, brace yourself because your total upkeep is going to run higher than you think. Number 3. Your maintenance costs are about double what you expected. Here's a number the showroom never mentions. Independent surveys consistently put Porsche's ownership costs near the very bottom of the industry. Consumer Reports, for instance, ranked Porsche second to last among all brands for maintenance and repair costs, which is a big part of why they suggest steering clear of European brands if affordable luxury is your actual goal. In practice, a Porsche owner can spend roughly twice what the average car costs to keep running, and that's for a street-driven car with nothing seriously wrong. Add a GT model driven the way it begs to be driven, and the figure climbs fast. A routine annual service is several $100s at the dealer. A major interval service runs into the thousands, and a PDK fluid flush stacks on top. None of these are secrets. They're just conversations the dealer had zero incentive to start. Build your real annual maintenance budget before you buy, not after. Handled comfortably, a Porsche is a joy. If it stretches you thin, it becomes a source of stress instead. And speaking of money, there's a good chance you overpaid at the very start. Number 2. Dealer markups are negotiable and often hidden. Additional dealer markup, or ADM, is the charge above sticker that dealers pile on when demand runs hot, and after the pandemic, it exploded. On a popular ordinary model, buyers were routinely hit with thousands over MSRP. On the coveted GT cars, the markups ran into the tens of thousands, and in the most extreme cases, well past $100,000 above sticker. Here's the detail almost nobody discovers. Porsche requires dealers to advertise at MSRP in their public listings, even when they fully intend to charge a markup once you're sitting in the finance office. The price you saw online was not necessarily the price waiting for you at signing. Dealers who sell at true MSRP do exist, but they reward patience, waiting lists, and relationships, and some buyers happily wait months or shop across state lines to pay sticker. For next time, research which dealers sell at MSRP, get on lists early, and never negotiate without knowing what the car actually trades for in your region. Which brings us to the single biggest illusion of the entire process. Number 1. The base model was always a bit of a lie. That attractive starting price in the online configurator is essentially bait, and your dealer knows it. The true base spec car is close to a phantom. It exists on the screen, almost nobody actually buys it, and frankly, almost nobody should. Here's the brutal part. A stripped car, without sport chrono, without the desirable options, without a strong color, becomes what insiders call toxic stock at resale. It sits for months because knowledgeable buyers won't touch it at a fair price. You can pour tens of thousands of dollars in options into a 911, a Cayman, or a Mackin, and the uncomfortable truth is that most of those options return almost nothing when you sell. The handful that genuinely protect value are the sport chrono package, quality seats, and a desirable color. Everything else is money spent purely for your own pleasure, which is a completely reasonable thing to do, as long as you know that's what it is. Because that's the thread running through all 15 of these. The sticker price was only ever the entry fee. The real cost of a Porsche is everything that comes after it. And the dealer who configured your dream car was thinking about their margin, not your bank account. Now, you know what they weren't going to tell you.